In the early days of a new papacy, Catholics around the world are asking, where will Pope Leo XIV lead the Church? Will he continue the bold reforms launched by the late Pope Francis, especially when it comes to elevating the leadership role of women in the Church? And more specifically, how will he address the ongoing discussions around women and ordained ministries, such as the diaconate? In today's video, we'll take a closer look at Pope Leo XIV's first moves as the new Bishop of Rome, and explore what they reveal about his vision for the future, particularly regarding the role of women at the heart of the Catholic Church. As with any papal transition, the election of Pope Leo XIV has brought with it a wave of speculation. What will be the priorities of this new pontificate? And just how far will he go in continuing the path of reform charted by his predecessor? One of the most frequently asked questions so far concerns Pope Leo's position on women's leadership in the Church. Will he continue Pope Francis's groundbreaking efforts to give women real authority, even within the Roman Curia? At this stage, it's still too early to know how Pope Leo will address major issues like women's ordination to the priesthood or the permanent diaconate. However, he did take part in the Synod on Synodality, a process initiated by Pope Francis, which led to the creation of study groups, including one dedicated to women's ministries and the possibility of the female diaconate. At the beginning of the 2024 Synod, Cardinal Victor Manuel Fernandez, prefect of the Dicastery for the Doctrine of the Faith and head of the study group on women deacons, stated clearly that it was too soon for any definitive conclusions and that further research would be needed. For now, it seems unlikely that Pope Leo XIV will make any immediate or dramatic decisions regarding women's ordination. Instead, he appears poised to wait for the study groups to complete their work, with their first reports expected in June. Even then, Pope Leo is not expected to depart from Pope Francis's repeated teaching that the priesthood is reserved for men and that this issue is, in Francis's words, closed definitively. Still, early signs suggest that Pope Leo XIV is not only preserving the status quo when it comes to women in positions of authority within the Vatican, he may be planning to expand it. Just days after his election, Pope Leo held a private audience with Italian sister Simona Brambilla, appointed by Pope Francis as prefect of the Dicastery for Institutes of Consecrated Life and Societies of Apostolic Life in January. Her appointment was historic. It marked the first time a woman had ever been placed in charge of a Vatican dicastery. This move stirred some debate among canon law experts, especially those who insist that only clerics can validly exercise decision-making authority over ordained members of religious institutes. They argue that such authority is tied to sacramental ordination, something women do not receive. But toward the end of his pontificate, Pope Francis worked to separate governance from ordination. He reformed the Curia and placed qualified laypeople, including women, in key leadership roles, based not on holy orders, but on competence and collaboration with the Pope. Observers wondered whether Pope Leo XIV would retain women like Sister Brambilla and Sister Raffaella Petrini, the Secretary General of the Vatican Governorate. And the answer, so far, appears to be yes, and more. From the outset, Pope Leo decided to keep all current prefects and department heads in place while he reviewed their work and received detailed briefings. Notably, he granted Sister Brambilla a private audience almost immediately. And in his first general audience on May 21st, nearly all of the lay people chosen to read the gospel summaries in various languages were women, with the exception of the Arabic reader. Under previous popes, such roles were typically reserved for men, especially clerics. But Pope Francis began changing that tradition, allowing lay people, including women, to proclaim scripture at papal audiences. Then on May 22nd, Pope Leo made his first major curial appointment. He named Italian sister Tiziana Merletti as secretary of the Dicastery for Religious Life. This means both top leadership roles in that Vatican department are now held by women. Sister Merletti, a former superior general of the Franciscan Sisters of the Poor, is a canon law expert and now becomes the third woman to serve as secretary of a Vatican dicastery, following Sister Brambilla and Sister Alessandra Smarilli of the Dicastery for Promoting Integral Human Development. Between the two women stands Cardinal Angel Fernandez Artime, who was previously appointed as co-prefect by Pope Francis. Many believe his presence helps to ensure canonical validity for decisions made under Sister Brambilla's leadership. Sister Merletti was born in 1959 in central Italy, earned a law degree in 1984, and received a doctorate in canon law from the Pontifical Antonianum University in 1992. She currently serves as a legal consultant for the International Union of Superiors General, UISG. Under Pope Francis, the 2022 Apostolic Constitution Praedicate Evangelium opened the door for qualified laypeople, including women, to lead Vatican departments, a role previously limited to ordained men. During Francis's pontificate, the percentage of women working in the Vatican and Vatican City-State rose from 19.2% to 23.4%, with many now serving in leadership roles. Though many questions remain, one thing is clear from Pope Leo XIV's early decisions. He is not turning back the clock. Rather, he is building upon the seeds of reform sown by Pope Francis, with thoughtful continuity and perhaps even quiet boldness. The continued and expanded presence of women in senior Vatican leadership is not just symbolic. It marks a real, deliberate step toward shared responsibility at the heart of the Church's governance. The Catholic Church is entering a new chapter, a time of careful transition, but also of real possibility. The key question now is this: will the presence of women in Vatican leadership become an irreversible part of Church life? Or will it remain a temporary exception? Time will tell, and we will be watching.